So thank you so much for joining us for Impact State of Mind. I'm John Paul Parmigiani, co-founder and CEO of Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area. Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area is a nonprofit supporting entrepreneurs and change makers with programs designed to help impactful ideas take off. We work across the New York metropolitan area broadly, with focus areas in Manhattan, Queens, Newark, and Morristown, New Jersey. Impact Hub is a global association of entrepreneurial communities in more than 100 cities and more than 50 countries. Impact State of Mind is a virtual series created to support the social innovation community during the COVID-19 crisis. So thank you so much for joining us today for this very special session. We have with us the CEO and the co-founder of Baobab Consulting, Liz Grossman, who is also one of our cherished advisors at Impact Hub New York Metropolitan Area. So it's a double pleasure to have you with us today, Liz.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
So could you maybe kick us off and tell us a little bit about who is Liz Grossman? Like, who are you?
Dang, who am I? Oh, big question. So, well, you mentioned I'm the co-founder and CEO of Baobab Consulting, which is a leading Africa-focused social impact firm that operates remotely in 8 countries around the world, most of them being on the continent of Africa. I am originally from outside of Philadelphia, went to school in Chicago, then moved to Dakar, Senegal to be a teacher, and then came back to the States, did my master's in international education policy at Harvard, and then moved back to Senegal with, at that point, another business idea that I had, but ended up in a nonprofit called Tostan as a communication specialist and social enterprise specialist as well for the NGO. And during that time, in 2016 was when I met my co-founder, Taib Fall, and we started Baobab Consulting. So we're coming up to our 5-year mark next year.
So I wonder if you can maybe tell us a little bit more about what got you so passionate about Africa.
Yeah, that's always a good question. So I was studying French in high school. I was studying French in college, and I had to go to study abroad. And my options were France, which I had been to. So I thought I knew everything about France. Not true, but that's what I thought. So I ended up choosing a program in Cameroon. And for what I thought would be 4 months, ended up me getting really interested in my research project in Cameroon, being able to go back the following summer. And then for my senior year in college, I said, I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to do. I didn't know what skills I had, but I wanted to move somewhere on the continent of Africa. So I ended up by, after hundreds of applications, I got a job as an English teacher at an international baccalaureate school in Dakar. And what was supposed to be 2 years ended up as 3. And then it has turned into a passion and Africa is a place where I always want to be. And I always want to be learning more. So yeah, I think it's the people, and I think it's the experiences that I've had with those people that have really made me passionate about the work I do.
Got it. So tell us more about Baobab Consulting. What's the vision? How does it relate to sustainable development goals and social impact? And what has been the experience there?
So Baobab Consulting was co-founded by myself and Taib, and we joined forces in Dakar at a Google conference. He was working at Google and I was a speaker at a conference. And he and I both joined forces pretty quickly on the passion of education, employability, and entrepreneurship. And also, we bonded over the misconceptions that each side, his Senegalese perspective and the American perspective, the misconceptions they were having when working together. The Americans typically come to Senegal with their opinions and their ways of working that often are not compatible with the Senegalese style of work. And we started talking about this. And over about 2 years of just kind of being in the same network and in the same sphere, kept running into each other, we decided that we wanted to do something about it. And that's how Baobab was formed. So really at the core of everything we do is a mission to promote mutual understanding and equitable collaboration between the US and Africa. And now that scope has scaled globally because we've now started working with partners in Ecuador and Azerbaijan, all with an interest in Africa. So, yeah, what we do is we help companies, we help nonprofits, and we also help SMEs based on the continent to share their work more strategically, to find the right partners, to set the right strategies and intentions for whatever projects they're doing. And what's unique about our company is that we are a Pan-African and Pan American hybrid company. So, as we've been founded by an American and a Senegalese, our leadership team is also African, but American as well. And so, we like to, we're really helpful to our clients because of the duality of that. So, we have a presence on the ground and we also have our global know how.
Got it. So being a New Yorker, and New York is obviously a very diverse city, and we have in New York a tremendous African diaspora
Yep.
that is, very active in business, between the U.S. and North America and the continent, and vice versa, and people coming back and forth for networking and different opportunities to connect. Obviously, during COVID, a little bit different, although still happening. I still notice that there are people who are making the trek back and forth. So what can you tell us about the relevancy of African innovation in like the New York metropolitan area, and the maybe like what some of the value is for on both sides of that equation, right? So for New Yorkers who are thinking about getting involved in opportunities to engage with different kinds of companies and actors on the continent, and also for people in Africa who are, why look to New York? So what are some of your thoughts here?
Yeah, well, I think that was one of the things I learned pretty quickly in the early days of Baobab, being here in New York and wanting to really take what was happening here and shine a light on that to those on the continent who needed that resource. And what I was seeing was that the diaspora is quietly investing a lot back at home and trying to build businesses here that can also serve. One of the organizations that we work with at Baobab is the African Diaspora Network, and they're based in Silicon Valley, but they also connect entrepreneurs from across the country, New York as well, to opportunities back on the continent. New York specifically, why I love New York and why I knew that if I needed to move to the United States, it would be New York, is because on a day-to-day basis, I am interacting with Africans in the diaspora. Where I live in Brooklyn is a very Senegalese neighborhood. So I walk around and I hear Wolof and I can have that touch point. Also, the Bronx is apparently the largest population of West Africans outside of West Africa. So yeah, and another side note, my host family in Cameroon, from my study abroad days, actually live in the Bronx now. So I have that touch point with them and I get to spend holidays with them and see them. But why New York is so interesting and important is because you have everyone here. And that means that, the Africans in the diaspora here get to see how other diaspora communities are living and how they're also, investing back at home. So I think in New York, there's a unique opportunity to not only see that community, but then how other diaspora communities are also investing back home and take those ideas and make it relevant.
Wow, that's really exciting and well said. I mean, certainly for people who are in the African diaspora, there's so much to explore and get to know within the communities that are here already. And for people who are interested, there are a lot of resources online to be able to discover it if you're interested in learning more. And but Liz, I want to turn our attention a little bit to the work that you do, in the sense that as an American, who's based in Brooklyn, doing work on the continent. I know that during normal days, you would do a lot of traveling and back and forth to different parts of the world, in Sub-Saharan Africa in particular. And I'm wondering, because you had been always finding a way to do remote work of various kinds and work with teams across the world, like how has that experience been? What are some of the lessons that you've learned as we've had a remote year? You know, what do you think the future is for remote work and working with on the continent?
Awesome. Well, so we've been remote actually since our founding, which is unique about us, because even when I was still in Senegal and we were founding the company, I was based in Dakar and Taib was based in Saint Louis. So which is about a 4-hour drive. So we were consistently working with Google, Docs and Sheets and WhatsApp and all these different technologies to actually get the work done. And so that's been a core of how we operate. So when COVID hit in March, which feels like so long ago, we didn't have to adjust our work tools like other companies had to. Other companies had to like really quickly get their staff up to speed on like how to use Slack and how to use Zoom, and it was like a scramble to get everybody on the same page. Like we didn't have that challenge, which was good and which was fortunate. um We've also had to address already some of the different specific challenges of remote work in Africa, like, data is not cheap. How do you get your team connected? How do you make sure that your team that lives in a house with their family has a place that's quiet, where they can get their work done, and the office used to be their kind of outlet. So we've had to manage some of these challenges this year. But I think the biggest challenge, like you said, like I used to be on a plane, I used to be able to go and see people, I used to be able to have that in-person touch with my team. Usually we had convenings in some way, shape, or form, whether it was for a client event or something we were organizing ourselves. We used to have that at least once a quarter, and we haven't had that yet. So we've really had to make touch points. We've done a Baobab yoga class. We had an Africa Day concert celebration. So we've had to be creative. Um, and we also have other platforms that we're able to use, such as we have a very vibrant WhatsApp group. We have a Slack channel, email, and also the personal relationships that people have been able to form over the years, and a supportive and celebratory culture has really helped us to weather this storm.
Got it. And I know that you've done work across the Impact Hub network as well, in Africa in
Mhm.
particular, right?
Yeah.
So actually, maybe for our audience, what are some of the things that you're able to do with Impact Hubs?
Sure. So, well, Impact Hub Accra was my first one. Back in 2017, I was serving as the community manager for the Impact Hub New York, and got to go and kind of do a little exchange, I would say. So I got to meet with the team there, and Impact Hub Accra was way ahead of us. They've been there, you know that very well. So I got to do a lot of learning from the team there, and kind of understand their business model. At the Impact Hub Lagos, I got to hang out with Shalape Hammond, who's the founder of Impact Hub Lagos, and was working on a project with her family foundation while I was there. And then in Dakar, which is our home, we hosted an event last year with my co-founder and with the founder of Impact Hub Dakar on how to build a transnational company. So yeah, Impact Hub is always a great place. It always feels like home. Once you're a member of one hub, you can always walk into another and be welcomed with open arms. So it's been a great driver, for my business, and also for me as a professional. Really helped me to meet really interesting people doing the work.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. When do you think, so out of curiosity, when do you think the travel schedule will begin again? Are you thinking 2021 or?
Yeah. Well, so part of our business, so we have three main service offerings. One is the PR and communications branch, which typically had a lot of in-person events as part of that suite of services. That has been switched to, the webinars and the virtual stuff and more written communications work. In-person events, I think, will slowly but surely get started, but it will never maybe be the same as it was, because we're seeing we can get stuff done online. So that I think will start maybe 2021. We'll start seeing more in-person things and travel, maybe 2022. We also offer our business strategy and research services. and where we see us kind of fitting in as like a, you don't have to necessarily travel in order to get that information because Baobab is on the ground. So instead of being stressed out about, oh, can I go there and can I interview these people or can I go and find out this, Baobab can be there for that. So I think people still do want to travel, but we're preparing for that not to be a thing for a little while. And then our third is our intercultural programming. And we were leading trips to Senegal for students, teachers, investors, everybody who wants to go for a purpose of learning and cultural immersion. We had 2 trips canceled this year, and we have decided as a company that we won't be booking any for 2021 just because we don't know. But I think those will begin maybe end of 2021 to the beginning of 2022.
Got it. So it sounds like there's some unique challenges that are,
Yeah.
are affecting you this year. Are there any other challenges in particular that you think are either unique this year or just, happen to be pain points that you're dealing with now as an organization?
Totally. Oh man, so many unique challenges. One of the unique challenges is our customer spending power. People are not spending money like they used to because everybody's trying to maintain their business. So where people may have been more interested in doing some PR, like, active engagement of their communities and getting Baobab involved, they may feel a little hesitant because they're concerned about can they pay their salaries for their team next month. So that's been a challenge that we've been fortunate to be weathering, but I think as all small business owners probably have felt that this year that the spending is less. Managing a remote team without any touch points has been a challenge for me just because I'm a people person and I get my energy off of seeing and being around people. So that as a person has been very, very challenging. And then the other unique challenge is that the point where Baobab Consulting is right now is at a point where we're ready to scale. And I think even without COVID, that's a very unique, challenging time for any organization to be kind of building systems and to be really thinking about the long-term sustainability of the company. So yeah, those are the 3 things that I'm dealing with this year.
Got it. And actually, I was curious your perspective. We know that the COVID crisis and the economic issues that have faced the global economy this year are acutely significant for Sub-Saharan Africa. We know that the Trump administration in the U.S. has not been keen on, providing liquidity to different markets in various ways, right? But now we're seeing in 2021 we'll have a new administration that might be more open to that. Do you think there are any? I just wanted to get like a sense of maybe where you may have some optimism in the space of the continued, the blistering pace of the rapid economic development that had previously been part of the African narrative in the last 5 to 10, 15 years. And maybe like what's to come?
Well, I'm really excited about the future, in particular, how it relates to Africa, but also how Americans and American entrepreneurs and businesses can engage with Africans. One of the things that I'm really excited about is obviously the sheer number of young people who are looking for work in Africa. And it and I see this on a day-to-day basis. We receive CVs all the time from brilliant people who just want to work. And because now this remote lifestyle has become something which people like and which, yes, there's challenges to it, but I don't think we're going to be going back to the normal that we had before. We're going to have an element of remote work in the future. And it's an opportunity for African talent to get in front of the companies and the employers of their dreams. So I'm excited to, first of all, work with some of the workplace productivity companies who have tools, to work with them to get those tools to African talent, and then increase that pipeline of, how do we get a communications professional from Nigeria working for an American company on the Nigerian issues, instead of hiring somebody here, making them go to Nigeria, to learn learn about a culture in a week's business trip and then come back and build the plan. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of more equalizing opportunities. And so I look forward to working with any of these companies who want to do it sustainably and who want to make sure that their tools are being adopted and that the digital etiquette and digital skills that are required are equitably given to young people.
That's amazing. And I think that's a really great point in terms of why there is such a bright future in a place like Africa, with so many opportunities to to give there's so many young people who are graduating from college across Sub-Saharan Africa with amazing skills. There's such a young, vibrant population of people who are grasping new technologies, who are grasping new tools that are experimental. And what comes from this is basically a giant pool of people who will change the world and do great things. And so the connectivity that opportunities that you guys provide, and connecting some of these different kinds of actors is just important. I want to ask you how people can get involved in your work. What are some of your needs right now, currently, if people want to support, get involved, follow you guys? Tell us what's hot.
Well, the easy way to just learn more is to check out our website, which is baobab-consulting.net. So that was one of the 2020 successes, is that we put up a new website, which has a lot of great information about us. You can also follow us on social media to learn more about us. You can reach out to me to learn more, and to the team. And then, what can we use? What do we need? Look, we need referrals. We need customers. We need contacts of people who are considering a business or a philanthropic venture in different contexts in Africa and who want help. We need people who are already doing the work in Africa, ones that are doing work that are aligned with our mission and the way we view the work. We need to hear about you so that we can maybe provide you with some PR services. Really, at the end of the day, I'm looking to scale this business. I am looking to reach, corporate clients, looking to really make a change in the way we do business in Africa. So anyone who is interested in that, and who would like to work with us, that's really what I need. I need you to work with us.
Got it. So thank you so much. I mean, real honor to have you on. I'm so inspired by the work that you're doing. And, there's a part of me that just wants to come join your team, and find.
We can talk about that. You know that. I feel like you're already kind of a part of us. So it's fine. We have a lovely community of partners like you, and we couldn't do it without you. So we're really grateful and looking forward to February and working with you guys on the African innovation event.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And more on that later. So thanks everyone for joining us. And thank you, Liz. Excited to have you on again in the future and hear how it all goes.
Thank you. Thanks, JP.